guys, welcome back to Chalk Talk here on SteelersDepot.com. I am Alex Kozora, and I want to get to some draft talk this week. We haven't mentioned it the last 2 weeks. And what I want to do today, as you see I have 4 names listed on here. These are all guys that reports have been done by either Chris, Dave, Luke on SteelersDepot.com. But I wanted to go back and kind of just touch on my thoughts on some of these prospects. I won't be producing the full-blown scattering report because it's already been done, and I'll leave the links to those at the bottom of this article here on SteelersDepot.com. But just to kind of go through some of my thoughts, throw up some pictures as well, just to kind of, I wanted to go back and take a look at some of these guys and get my own kind of thoughts and feelings on them whenever I have the time. So we'll start with some of the edge rushers. I have 3 of them here, some of the big names here in the 2015 NFL Draft. And I'm going to start with Vic Beasley, and this guy obviously blew up the combine. He's a great athlete. I think he's great sideline to sideline, has a nice motor, that great get-off, spin move. I think he uses his hands pretty well. Maybe some more work to be done there. But the tremendous athlete, the first step that he possesses is absolutely phenomenal, Vic Beasley. And he didn't drop into coverage a whole lot, but I think because he's such an athlete without any stiffness in his hips, I think he'll have no problem getting the proper depth at the next level. So I want to just talk about that spin move. I want to put up a picture here. It's against Oklahoma. You're going to see an inside spin against the left tackle of Oklahoma. You're going to see him just whip him and get to the quarterback and finish with a sack. So it's a little hard to capture some of the speed in the pictures. There will be some of the GIFs. But I think that you kind of get that sense there from Beasley, that inside, remember Dwight Freeney had that spin move that no one could stop, the Jonathan Scott butt block. So that's kind of what you see with Vic Beasley. The next one here against Florida State, the dip and rip. See him get that inside shoulder, get skinny, not allow himself to be a target for the tackle to hit, get skinny around the edge, then rip through the arms, knock the hands away of the tackle, finish with another sack as well. Tremendous bend around the edge, the ability to flatten, get up the arc, and get to the quarterback. And that's the premier thing that we're asking out of pass rushers and out of that position in today's NFL. Some of the issues you guys probably know by now, common sense, you've been reading around a little bit. Struggles against the run, has to develop upper body strength. I think he's in the ground too often. I thought Cameron Irving, overall from Florida State, kind of really bested him. And you see a picture of that here, of him getting kind of put into the ground. And here's another one too, red zone opportunity. Taking on the fullback, lead strong, and he's got to set the edge here. And instead of setting the edge, he dips and ducks that outside shoulder to avoid the fullback, tries to go around him, gives up that edge, and the fullback seals him easily, and Carlos Williams hits the edge, bounces it outside for an easy touchdown. You got to be able to stay square to your defender and hold that block and shed based on what the running back does. That's a big area for Beasley to struggle with, and that's critical. If you want to become more than a situational, third down rusher, you got to get better against the run. So that is one drawback with Vic Beasley. And even though he added weight, it doesn't mean that you're better against the run. Technique-wise, you still got to be better against the run. Being 246 or 248 doesn't mean that, if you duck against the fullback, you're ducking against the fullback. It's the same result regardless of weight. Move on now to Dante Fowler, bigger guy, about 260. That I thought was a good athlete with a really surprising and nice first step, very explosive off the edge, has length. I thought that was a nice, strong, violent punch. I think he's got a good repertoire of pass rushing moves. He's not a one-trick pony. I think he uses them well. So he's a little bit more, I think, developed as a pass rusher than some of these guys in this year's draft. So I'm a fan of him. You're going to see in the picture here, swim over the tight end against Alabama. He's going to basically run through the running back. And by the end of it, there's 3 Alabama offensive players focused on Dante Fowler Jr. The issue with him, he doesn't always play to his strength, and that really surprised and disappointed me. You're going to see here against Bama, against the left tackle, he's going to get washed, run out, and turned. And then another one, I think it's just third and short, he's going to basically just turn himself voluntarily against the tight end and lose track of the running back. You have to stay square to the line of scrimmage. We want you to be square, be able to shed, find the ball carrier, and attack him. If your back's turned, you take yourself out of the play because you're not using your hands anymore. You're an easier target, and you lose track of the ball carrier. So I don't think Fowler always played to his strength, and that was disappointing. Watched it against Kentucky as well. Saw the same issue. So, in that regard, I really came away a little disappointed from Dante Fowler. I expected better from that. So that was a concern there. So I don't know how I feel about them. Some people have them top 5. I don't know if I would. Move on now to Eli Harold, another player that's been getting more and more mocked to the Pittsburgh Steelers at pick 22. Again, looks like a strong safety, long, lean body, great athlete, sideline to sideline. That's Eli Harold. And I think at times he can change directions and tackles just can't mirror. So I think he has that great just skill set as a great athlete. He's got to add to it, though. Another guy, predictable issues, staying on his feet. We're going to see a picture here for Eli Harold. Stuck on the tight end against Louisville. It's not even a big tight end. It looks like one of the hybrid guys for Louisville. It might even been a wide receiver. I'm not even 100% sure. But regardless, he's stuck. Can't flow down the line. Running back gets the edge. Going to see it around the arc here as well. Gets put into the ground. You got to stay on your feet to compete. You have to have that for any offensive, for any outside linebacker, any player in general. Trenches to that outside linebacker, you have to be able to stay on your feet. You can't get caught up on the ground, otherwise you're useless. Big thing I want to talk about with Eli Harold. We talk about needing to develop some power. It's not all just hitting the weight room. A lot of that power, especially as a pass rusher, is generated from the lower half, and it's about your steps. We're going to see the good and bad here against Louisville, just a couple plays apart. Talking about the speed bull rush, 3-step rush, playing on your outside foot, then drive, shoot the arms, bench press a tackle, and run through him. Going to see the good here to start. This is his third step. See him plant on that right outside foot. He's going to shoot the arms, explode through, bench press that tackle, run through him. And again, gets pressure on the quarterback. Doesn't get the sack, but he affects the throw. So that's the good. Now you're going to see the bad of it. A couple plays later, he's going to be coming off of that inside foot. Doesn't generate that lower half power, and is easily rebuffed by the tackle. So I think part of that is weight room. Part of that he has to get a bigger upper half, add some more muscle. But I think part of that is just with his steps as well, some technique issues, and show some more technique consistency. It's there, though, and that's encouraging. And again, Harold, another tremendous athlete who I think didn't drop a ton, a little, but because he's such an athlete without any stiffness in his hips, I think he'll have no problem being able to hit depth whenever he's asked to drop into coverage in the NFL. Last guy now moved to the cornerback, Kevin Johnson, another guy pretty popular to the Steelers at 22. Didn't know how I felt about him. Came into the combine 188. That was big for him. But I love Johnson, another great athlete, great instincts. I think he reads plays well, has good route recognition. And you're going to see here an interception. A little tough to see. I couldn't get a great camera angle for it to show it. But you can kind of tell he's already breaking on the ball before the Clemson quarterback has even thrown it. He's still in his windup. He does a nice job of reading routes, breaking on the ball. He's a great athlete, good click and close. And he gets on top of the ball quickly. We're going to see it again. Florida State. This is a completion by Florida State, but the principle is still the same. Reading the route of the receiver, eyes on the receiver, is able to see that route, and that receiver just started to break on his out route, and Johnson's already in his click and close and starting to get downfield. He's breaking on the ball. Gets on top of the ball quickly. Again, it's a completion, but it's still great to see, and that's going to translate to interceptions, to splash plays, and wrapping up the tackle or the receiver immediately and not allowing that yard after catch. So I like that from Kevin Johnson. Big concern that some people had is he physical. Came in, played 170 this past year at Wake Forest. There's some valid questions there. I think he has trouble sometimes getting guys to the ground. Kind of has to have some help in some gang tackling, kind of holding on for dear life. But I think the mentality is there. You have the mentality, you're in a good spot. You're going to see it here. Again, Florida State. This was not called for targeting. You can debate, he probably has to lower that tackle, point a little bit, get a little bit lower. But the mentality is there. Separate player from football. It's a big hit on the receiver, a couple pictures to show it, a reverse ankle as well. He got ejected for targeting the week before, too. You never want to see that. It's not a good thing, but it just shows he's not contact shy. And I saw that in other games I watched of him, too. He'll get his nose dirty. Does he have to probably get a little stronger upper body? Yes, he does. But I think as long as that mentality is there and it's coachable, and I think it is, he's not shy, I think that's the key point there. I think that play helps illustrate that, even if it was a pass. I think the mentality is there. So those are the four guys I want to go through. Obviously, Beasley seems to have a slim chance of getting to the Steelers. Fowler's probably out of the running based on mocks right now. And now you have Eli Harold, Kevin Johnson are the two big ones. I think the Steelers are in a good spot at 22. I think they have a lot of different options. You go, Harold, Johnson, Landon Collins, Marcus Peters. I still like Max Williams. I still would not be opposed to it. But I think the Steelers have a ton of options at 22. Trading down as well is still a possibility. It's always on the table for every team. So I really am not fretting about what the Steelers are going to do. It's not an easy decision, but I think they have a lot of options. I don't think they're going to be picking a player that they don't think is worthy of the 22nd overall selection. I'm going to wrap this video up. Sorry I went a little bit long. Just wanted to get to some draft talk. You know me, how I ramble. If you want to see something in the next video, leave me a comment. I'm going to focus on draft, get back into the X's and O's like we did the last 2 weeks. I'm cool with that. Just let me know what you want to see. And keep checking out Matthew's and Dave's and Chris's and Luke's and everyone here. at SteelersDepot.com. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great week.